Great. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to get going. I'm going to continue on with the bank information and more of the 14 things. I'm getting a lot of feedback from that, so I'll go through that in more detail. And if you're watching live right now, just know that we have an Airbnb meetup tonight, so we'd love to see you here. The women's group is meeting tomorrow. We have small apartments next week, so we have a lot of events going on. Make sure to go to mrtxre.com. Like, love, smash, comment, give us smiley faces. Everything, please. We could really appreciate it. Thanks. Let me know you're ready. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Hey, I'm going to continue on from last night when we talked about the banks. So, if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday night. I have recorded this on Tuesday afternoon. Letting you know it's not live. And as of 5 minutes before getting on the air here, getting in the studio, Biden pronounced yesterday that, hey, we are going to make sure that the banks are solid, none of them are going to collapse. And remember, what we talked about is, again, this is very different from Lehman. Yes, Signature Bank in New York was a crypto transition, and they did a lot of investment there, and so there was some scary stuff there, at least for the regulators and for their people that put their deposits in, their customers. And then Silicon Valley Bank was more of a VC bank where they flowed money through, with a lot of really high net worth individuals doing their deposits there, and a lot of banks, a lot of banking with startups, like Thiel Bank there, and there's a lot of companies that were using that as a transactional bank. So we have sort of two different banks that fell that don't look anything like Lehman's, right? Lehman's was lending to the street, construction projects, housing, mortgages. I mean, they were sort of knee deep in the economy, versus these banks, which were really just maybe one or two segments, right? So we look at SVB, we would say, hey, they're in the tech segment, and they also had transactions in the healthcare segment. So they're two of the bigger segments in our economy, but not all of them. Like Lehman was sort of across the board. So yes, Rob understands that there is a difference. However, it doesn't matter. This is what Black Tuesdays and Black Fridays and Black Mondays and all the classic economic runs on the bank happen, is based on fear. And so what we learned, what Lehman's, and everyone was pumping their chest, let it fail, capitalism, let it fail. And they did, and it almost destroyed the economy, right? So if you watch Too Big to Fail, if you watch some of those movies, you'll see what was going on at that time. It's really, really interesting what was going on with Paulson and his team and what was actually working. Bernanke, really, really good stuff. I'm sure there was some of it was dramatized, but basically you have to provide confidence in the marketplace. And I know when the economy is good, every politician, who's in the majority wants to take credit for it. And when the economy is bad, every politician in the minority wants to point fingers. And we know for the most part, if they're not meddling and trying to do some social engineering, it's really just the behemoth that is the American capitalistic market, right? It's the GDP. And I always describe it, it's like a big, giant flow outside your window. And our job is just to go put a little cup out there and grab a little bit of it. And this $1 trillion monster is running by your window every night. And there's not a lot that a congressman, a senator, or a president can really affect to it, except in extraordinary situations. And so in my mind, all the president has to do in this situation is stand up and say, we're all good. We're going to do whatever we have to do to make sure that those depositors are secure. Because if they're going to... Now, he doesn't necessarily say we're going to... I think he actually did say we're going to backstop every bank and FDIC. We talked about that yesterday. Maybe you got to spread your wealth around a little bit, move it to different banks. But the thought process is hey, they're going to not let it fall like Lehman's. So that's what Biden did. Hey, it's not going to fall. We're going to backstop it. We're going to make sure these companies move forward. We're going to be okay. That's what a president's supposed to do. And he did it. Now, of course, Biden being Biden, he couldn't resist to blame Trump for the whole thing. Of course, right? It's great. There's a great story, right, for Khrushchev, right? The premier in the communist premier in Russia, right? So there's 2 envelopes in the drawer, right? And he says, hey, when there's a crisis, I want you to open up envelope 1. And if you have a second crisis, open up envelope 2. So Khrushchev writes a thing, and there's a crisis. So the next premier opens it up, and the letter says, blame me. So the new premier goes ahead and blames Khrushchev. I think it was Bernishnikov, but I don't know. Blames Khrushchev. And it's like, okay, he's the fault. That's it. Everyone's like, oh, okay, got it. Got it, Biden. It's Trump's fault, right? The second crisis happens, he opens up the second letter, and the second letter says, it's time to write 2 letters, meaning you have to resign. So, of course, our politicians can't let any crisis go without trying to fundraise off of it. So the president did what he had to do today and stand up and blame Trump. Of course he would. And trust me, it's completely the opposite, right? We were blaming Barney Frank and Chris Dodd for all this stuff. I get it. Nonetheless, the economy still moves forward. Now, there is a little bit of backlash because people are worried about, hey, is the bank going to survive? How do we make more money? Well, we haven't written any mortgages lately, so let's go out and try and write some mortgages. The immediate reaction was been shocking is to see the 30-year mortgage fall. It's dropped in the last 2 days, which is interesting for us. Now, inside our mastermind, we have a little communication channel, back channel. I went and told everyone last night, if you've got something closing this week, make sure all your paperwork is in, you're ready to go. There's going to be no postponing the signature. Get to wherever they tell you to get to, sign it. Because what we saw in COVID was it took about a week to 10 days for the market to adjust. And again, I talked about this last night. It's like, it goes like this. We call them up today. Today's Tuesday, even though you're listening on Wednesday. We call on Tuesday. Everything okay? It's not going to affect this? Nah, everything's good. We're all good. Call them up on Thursday. Hey, everything's still okay. We got to close tomorrow. I was like, yeah, we talked about it today, but we should be okay. Come Monday, hey, we okay? We're having a big meeting about that today. Uh-oh. Call on Tuesday, no return call. Call on Wednesday, no return call. Friday, no return phone call. Finally, 3 weeks later, you get someone to call you back, and they'll let you know, hey, we're out of the business, or we've timed out, or we're okay, we're back. And so we deal with a lot of private equity funds, private equity groups that lend money to sort of private mortgage is what we're doing, commercial mortgages. And those guys are very, very, very susceptible to the latest, whatever the way the wind's blowing, right? There's no locking in rates. There's no 30, 60-day like FHA. It can change on a dime. So we told all our mastermind members, if there's a closing today or tomorrow, get there, make sure you have all your documentations, sign it, get it funded, because typically they will honor the funding of that. It's the, hey, what's happening next week and the week after that. But I don't think there's going to be any problems. So far, so good as of the recording of this. Biden did what he had to do. The banks are telling a different story. People are feeling more confident. Bank stocks, the last time I looked, were up. So we're doing okay. Hey, hang tight, guys. We're going to come back from this message. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, and then we're going to get into the 14 things to do. This is Robert, the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Hang tight. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. So, yeah, we have a back channel for our mastermind. We're making sure that, hey, are you aware? Be aware. This is important. Make sure. We sent an email out. We posted an email up on our portals. Again, this is what we do, right? We're on top of the marketplace every single day trying to figure out, the most profitable or most productive or most efficient way forward. It's probably a good way to describe it, the most efficient way. You're going to hit some bumps. It's going to, there's going to be some roadblocks. There's going to be some challenges. But how do we get efficiently from point A to point B to point C and then to point retirement, right? So that's what our mastermind's for. We're doing a lot of it. We had a great mastermind weekend. I've been about 30, 40 people in our building. Over half the mastermind showed up. And I was like, hey, how come everyone isn't here? It's like, well, a lot of guys have made money and they don't choose to be here, right? They went out, they did what we told them to do, made $600,000 equity in, 3 years, and they're just biding their time. It's like, yeah, it's going to get to $1 million, and then we'll figure some things out. It's like, great. I don't need to come. You don't need to come. Got it. If they have questions, they'll put it in the back channel or they'll reach out to us directly and we'll help them along. So we are super excited. All those landlords in the room, kind of all going through the same problems that we all go through. Having good discussions, trying to get some solutions, trying to figure out, group think, group power, group purchasing. So it was really, really good. And it's not coaching. We say it over and over. This is not a coaching program. This is a program for you to get around like-minded individuals so that you can move your real estate investing career forward, right? You're learning by the others sharing their experience. And it was good. And we brought some heavy hitters in, big-time commercial broker. We brought one of our great success stories, a guy named Jeff, made millions doing what we work with him on. And he's got all kinds of crazy stories, ups and downs. And, it's never quite perfect. Strike that. It's never close to perfect. But it happens, right? So real estate can be very messy. But in the end, when you're looking at the end, you'll be like, okay, all this nonsense I had to go through is justified. So we had a great weekend. It was a lot of fun. NFL free agency is going on right now. Very excited about that. I'm a New York Giants fan, in case you guys hadn't figured that out. So Giants are doing well. We signed a big-time middle linebacker and then just got the Raiders all-pro tight end in a trade. So that's all good. I allow myself New York Giants and New York Met distractions. That's what I allow myself. Speaking of that, we were talking yesterday at the end about, hey, one of the things we did in our mastermind was saying, hey, you got to get your mindset right. You got to kind of do some things. And I am a big time listener of all those motivational videos, right? And it's usually in the first, if I'm walking the dog or if I'm cleaning the pool, I'll just turn the phone on YouTube and I'll just put my headphones in or I'll just play it loud and just listen to that stuff, right? Because it's helped me in my last 13 years of doing this, right? Actually, as an entrepreneur, it's been a 15-year journey. So it's absolutely helped me. Now, a lot of it is just sort of getting in the state, getting moving, opening your eyes, feeling, some of that energy coming out, and you feel good about it. But some of it is very educational. And what I was saying yesterday is we listed out, hey, these are 14 things that the best we can tell, these are probably things we should spend some time researching. And I worked with Jason on it, and we went back and forth. And he said, yeah, on that one, yeah, on that one. Yeah, I used to do that, I don't do that. Or I'll say, yeah, I'll do this. And seven of them are sort of, physical, right? Like your actual body and your metabolism and your energy levels and things like that. And then the other 7 are just sort of mindset stuff. And so I read the list yesterday, and people were texting me. It's like, you're not doing all those. And I was like, yes, I'm not doing all of them. In fact, I believe it's almost impossible to do all of them. You'd have to be, 40-year-old, 35-year-old, and retired to be able to get all this in and have the energy to do all of them. But there's just 14 points that I think are very salient, very important for us to take a look at. And you can make those incremental or small changes in your life. And so as a group, we went through them and we said, okay, how many are doing 3 or less, right? And there was a bunch of hands. We said, okay, hey, you got to just do 2 more. Notice the changes, right? How many of you are doing this? How many are doing that? Had 10. And like nobody was doing more than 11. Nobody. Because everyone's working or everyone's developing their portfolio or doing investing or being a dad, a mom, a grandma, a grandpa, working on all this stuff. Just time. And so what I told the group was this: if we can get to 7 of these, you should see an impact in your life. And I don't care what 7 they are. Just do something to improve your life. And I think moving forward, we might change out a few things here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty solid. We've read a lot of books on them. Jason's read books. I've read books on this stuff. We've watched webinars and podcasts, and we've watched real doctors and folks that are practitioners really kind of go through it. And so I'm gonna go through that now because I've got a couple more segments here to work with. So the first one was from a book I read called Why We Sleep. And I don't have the author's name, and I hate not being able to acknowledge him. But anyway, and it basically said this: you've got to get 5 REM cycles. 5. And if someone's watching on Facebook or YouTube and you know the author of the book, can you please put it in the comments? I would appreciate that so people can figure it out. You got to get 5 REM cycles, right? Which is like 5 90-minute periods, right? So 5 times 9 is 450 minutes divided by 6. You need 7.5 hours of sleep or more. So that's 7.5 to 8 hours is probably the minimum that you really need. If you can squeeze in 9.5, then do it. And you typically can if you just cut out the YouTube, Netflix, all that other stuff, and just go to bed by 9. If you go to bed by 9, you can be up at 6 and have your 9 hours. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on. Obviously, tonight I've got an event here, so I run out of here. I really don't talk a lot. I got to get home, got to get to bed. Jump in the shower, get home, boom, jump into bed. It's 9:15, 9:20. Trying to get 8+ hours in. And what the book said was real simple. Hey, the first 3 REM cycles are just basically making sure your brain works to its optimum ability. And then the next 2 to 3 REM cycles helps your body recoup. There's blood flow. So the first 3 REM cycles, basically blood flow to the brain. The next REM cycles are going to be blood throughout your body, increase the circulations. It's going to help you lose weight, right? It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to do a whole bunch of things that are going to be really, really helpful to you. So I highly recommend read the book, Why We Sleep, and get 5 to 6 REM cycles. And I'll tell you, this morning, I squeezed in 6. I felt like I needed one more. I was like, I just need one more. And so I just went back to bed and took about 100 minutes of sleep, got up, took the dog out. I felt so much better because I knew I was going to go long tonight. So that was one. And so we can do that one. That's a pretty important one, right? The second one was drink water, right? So when we come back from the break, we'll talk more about this. My caffeine intake, I've drastically changed in the last 60 days, and I have a pronounced good effect from it. So hang tight. If you want to learn more about us, go to mrtxre.com. My name is Robert, and I'm with Mr. Texas Real Estate. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. So we're going through this list of 14 things that we worked with the mastermind on. Just, again, sort of optimizing what we can do in our daily lives. And so 1, we said get good sleep. Number 2 is drink water, right? Everyone knows, hey, you need 5 to 8 glasses of water every day. And I would tell you to add lemon to the water. It's good for the kidneys, good for your liver. It's good for everything, right? A little half a lemon squeezed in there and just drink some lemon water. And I know there are people like in California, it's like, I only do hot water and lemon, Rob. That's all I do. I'm like, that's great. I still like my coffee in the morning. But one of the tricks I learned from Andrew Huberman was wait 90 minutes before you drink your first caffeine. And I've been doing that pretty religiously at this point for the last 2 months. And the effect that I've noticed, it is even my sleep out. I will go through 5 REM cycles without getting out of bed, without stirring, without having to go to the bathroom. Right? I was drinking coffee late in the day. It was throwing some things off. 90 minutes, I get up, wait about an hour and a half, have my first cup of coffee, come to work. By 11:30, I'll have my second cup of coffee, and I'm done. Right? I'm done. So, drinking lots of water, lemon, that's really important. Reducing the amount of caffeine that we're taking in, that's going to help greatly. So that was another one that we were talking about. And again, the whole point of this thing is you're not going to get all of them done, right? We're just not going to be able to get there. I started doing cold showers in the morning. So there's been about 10 years of internet data on this and probably another good 3 years of real medical data that shows the benefits. So I think like 5 to 6 days a week now I've been doing cold showers. It certainly gives me a lot of more energy when I come out. And you should do the research on it. It has massive benefits from health and reducing the amount of times you're sick and reduces inflammation. So that's a big thing. Inflammation, you're going to find out when you get older, is a key. We really want to reduce that because the correlation, and I can't cite any studies on this, but the correlation is that folks that have lots of inflammation problems also have a tendency to get more cancer. So we want to cut that down. So 4, again, just physical, get your room, your bathroom, your bed, your office, get it prepared in the morning, right? Don't jump into any work until you've actually physically cleaned up, made the bed, cleaned the office, cleaned the kitchen, rinsed everything, put it away, and just basically have a clean slate when you're starting every day. So it's a lot of mental, but it's also physical, just making sure the place is clean. Be physically active for 45 minutes a day. This is the lot of crap you guys gave me online and texting me. Clearly, I'm not getting my 45 minutes every day. I'm going to start working on it. It's going to be probably a lot doing some golf. We got to finish up some projects here, but I know that it's a fault of mine. I've got to get to it, right? But what I'm telling you is you can't get them all done. I'm trying to get this one done. I'll probably have to do it at some point. It'll be walks at lunch here, but I'll work on that. And again, just getting some activity every day. Less meat, more plants. Right? So there's good vegetables to eat. There's good fruits to eat. You're going to have to dive into all that. There's tons of books and videos and big-time movies going on about it. And right now I'm in meatless March. So I actually put a piece of chicken in my mouth last night. Oh, my God, I'm a hypocrite. No, I tried my best. So I realized, hey, this pasta had chicken in it. I pulled all the chicken out, slid on a plate over to my wife, said, hey, have some chicken. So for 30 days, I'm going to go without. I'm going to try it. Right along those lines is sober living. Like just because alcohol and nicotine and in certain states marijuana, and I guess they decriminalize a certain of holding of marijuana here in Texas. It passed, but it's not quite signed yet. So Texas is leaning that way. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's good for you, right? Right? I mean, chocolate cake is legal. So you're going to have to be wary of this stuff. And, I'll hear a lot of times, well, it's not addictive. It's like, you're correct. It probably doesn't have the addicted tendencies of like heroin or sugar or nicotine, right? But if you have an addictive personality, if you have some serious stress in your life and this becomes your go-to, you're going to have some problems. So you should look at it. Try and do 30 days sober. It's pretty important. And then getting into the mindset stuff. So that's the 7 on the physical side, right? Get a good night's sleep. Drink water. Cold showers. Clean your room. Clean your office. Clean your kitchen before you start anything during the day. Get some physical activity. Sober living. Less meat, more vegetables. And you can A/B test this stuff. Like I said, just doing that caffeine thing, and then yesterday I had the epiphany on air where I'm like, oh, hey, I've been having really good sleeps. And one of the things that I changed was this. That's good. It's not the cold showers because I haven't done that long enough. But man, now that I'm really sort of monitoring my caffeine intake, waiting a little bit further in the day and then not drinking any caffeine after 1, my sleeps are great. Like really good. So take a look at that. See if it has an impact for you. If it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. Right? But of those 7 things, try and get 3. Just try and get 3 of them done. 4. If you're overweight like me, you've got to add that 45 minutes. So that becomes a goal that I have to get, right? But the water and the sleep, more vegetables, less meat, these things are good. Cold showers, yep. So anyway, this is stuff we do in the mastermind. And I know it sounds a little hokey, and I know we're in Texas, right? So this isn't California. We don't bring out the pyramid hats or the holding the crystals. But we do look at some of the science and say, hey, you should try it. You should try and have an impact in your daily life. That's really, really important. So, all right, let's go over to the other side. So the mental stuff, right? The 7 things that we want to do from a sort of mental. Like, I'll just read the list, and when we come back from the break, we'll go ahead and do we'll break them down. But 1 is prayer and meditation, right? The other one is just get rid of these social media apps, get rid of the tap games, replace that sort of entertainment need with education. Whether they're videos, right, the education videos, or Blinkist or Audible, try and replace that stuff. You should do journaling. And again, it doesn't have to be, again, a pink diary with a unicorn on it. It can be a spreadsheet where you're just sort of tracking the things that are going on in your life. Monitor your finances daily. Like, know where every penny goes. It's okay to spend a lot of money at Starbucks. It's your choice. But just know how much you're spending at Starbucks. We used to do a lot of this stuff when we were trying to help people that had some financial problems, and a lot of them would be like, I don't know where the money goes. It's like, well, if you've ever said that or thought that, start monitoring your money. We'll do some, I'll give you some good advice on that too. Eliminate simple decisions. Like, just eliminate the things that take 30 seconds to think about. Just get rid of those in your life. If something takes less than 2 minutes, you're going to go ahead and do it. And then the big one is you got to sort of reframe what's going on in your life. You got to be a little more introspective. You got to think about why you reacted the way you reacted, what's going on, what challenges are in front of me, and how can I make sure that I do them successfully. So when we come back to this next from this break and go into this next segment, the last segment, we'll break down those 7 a little more deep. I'll talk about some of the books to read. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Make sure you check out our website, mrtxre.com, and we will see you here in the building. Last segment, right? All right. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Thank you for joining us tonight. As always, we sure do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And as always, I'm going to highly advise you to go to our website, take a look at mrtxre.com. If you're looking for some education, if you're looking to do this actively, there's going to be tons of event. If you're looking to do this passively, if you want some passive investment opportunities, then let's have a conversation. Let's start a relationship. And all you got to do is text the word passive. Text the word passive to 281-401-9008. That's 281-401-9008. 281-401-9008. Text the word passive. Let's start a relationship. Let's get back and just kind of figure out if we're a good fit for you or not. And we have our folks in our company here that would love to get on the phone with you and have a conversation. So text the word passive to 281-401-9008. All right, so if you haven't been listening, we do a mastermind here, and we have a big meeting every quarter. We had about 40 people in the room, and we said, hey, there's so much stuff out there that tells you you're going to be a great person and be having the most effective life. And when we list out like the top 10 and then it went to the 14, we said, you know what? You can't get all these things done. This is almost impossible. So we said 7 on the sort of physical side and another 7 over here on the sort of mental, motivational side. And let's just try and get half of them done. 14 to go together. Can you get 7 done in your daily life? Because here's the thing. I know you guys are out there, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I totally get it. And everything looks so great for all those people out there. But then you turn around and look at your life and you're like, why is there such a big gap? And here's what I have to tell you. Those people on Instagram are full of it. They struggle just like you. They may preach like I'm preaching the 14 things here to do, but I'm an honest person, and I'm going to tell you, man, I'm getting 6 done right now. I've got to add 1 more. And let's just get to half. And boy, if we can get to 10 of the 14, that's a pretty good life. You should have a lot of positive impact going on in your person and really being able to be efficient at taking on the challenges of life. And that's all we're saying is we understand it's hard. We understand there's lots of things to do. Heck, most of you listening right now, right, you're trying to figure out, what am I going to have for dinner tomorrow night? Is the laundry done? Do I have to cut the lawn or blow the leaves because there's tree pollen everywhere? Do I have to get the car washed? Will I have any time to spend with my kids? Like, those are the big things that are going on in your mind right now. And you don't need some 20-something-year-old on Instagram telling you how to change your life, right? It's the last thing you need, right? Especially when it's not true for her. So we're just saying, hey, there's these 14 things. Try and get half done. If you can get to half, 6, I mean, you'll see the benefits in life. So let's go through the stuff that's on the sort of mental side, on the motivational side. So 1, prayer and meditation. If you're a believer, you're a believer. If you're not, that's okay too, right? You'll figure it out at some point. So if you want to pray, pray. But I would also tell you to meditate. And meditation is going to be about breathing. Right? The core to meditation is controlled breath, controlled breathing in and out, and then basically letting your brain move to a topic or just be open or some contemplation. Right? So in the Bible it says Jesus prayed and meditated. Well, we all got the prayer part down, right? We know how to pray. But the meditation part is pretty critical too. So I tell you to do that. And if the only thing you can extract from that is breathing techniques, I would tell you to do some research on that as well. Right? Really, really important. You're going to find some guys who talk. I think the movie is Breath. The book is Breath or Breathing. It's out there. It's on Joe Rogan. Guy's been on Rogan. He's been on Huberman. He's been out there. Figure it out. You'll see the benefits of breathing correctly, right? A lot of us are breathing wrong. Do that. The next thing is you want to do some journaling, right? And we talked about this last night. Everyone talks about Think and Grow Rich. It's a great book. And I always say, oh, it's great. Yeah, you do it. Yeah, you believe it. Yeah, great. Can I see your goals? You should have them on writing. You should have them in writing on you, or at least on your phone. And the due dates, right? What mantra do you do every morning? Oh, I don't do that. Okay. Well, forget Think and Grow Rich. Let's talk Dilbert. So, the creator of Dilbert, you can read this online. Again, in the 80s and 90s and all this crazy stuff, everyone's like self-motivation. It's a big boom, Tony Robbins, all that stuff. And it's still happening out there. But he is like, hey, man, I can't believe this stuff. You know, I can't believe you just say the words every day and it's gonna miraculously appear. But he said, you know what? It can't hurt to try. So I believe he said either 5 times or 10 times every day, or wrote 5 times and 10 times, I will be a nationally syndicated cartoonist. I will be a nationally syndicated cartoonist 10 times a day. And he gave himself X amount of years. And when he first got his national syndication, he looked, sure enough, it came true. That comes right out of Think and Grow Rich. Right? That's manifesting these things. Do yourself a favor. Look up the Dilbert author, Dilbert creator mantras. It's a pretty cool little Google thing. So, but get into journaling. Write down your goals. Make sure you're looking at them every day. Just make sure they're top of mind. And I think it's not magic. It stays in your short-term memory. This is my sort of just quick take on it. When you're reading it every day, when you're saying it out loud every day, it stays in your short-term memory, which makes you aware of it as you walk by it. I love to ski. I skied since high school, the snow skiing. And I have driven by a ski shop down in Corpus Christi 100 times. And I never recognized it until I had a conversation about, hey, we're going to buy a ski house, and this partner of mine wants to go up there in April and go check it out. It's a luxury resort. It's a quarter share, all this good stuff. We want to go check it out. And that was a conversation we've been having back and forth for a week. And lo and behold, I'm coming around the turn. There's a ski shop in Corpus Christi. And I'm like, huh. And I think what happens is you just put these things into our short-term memory, what makes us aware of it as we're going through our daily day. So, more deals will come to you. More money will come to you, right? You'll get mentors because you're in your short-term memory. You're constantly talking about this to yourself so that when it does appear in front of you, you don't drive by it 100 times. I think that has a big part to do with it. The other thing we talked about was, if anything takes less than 2 minutes to do it. Do it. Someone says, hey man, can you just write a quick email for me? And you say later, and you're like, no, I can do that in 1 minute. I'm going to sit down, open this up, and do it. Make sure you're taking out all the little 2-minute tasks. Looking at your finances every single day. So we use Mint to track your budget, but you want to go ahead and look up Rocket Money. Eliminate simple decisions, right? So you just want to have the same socks, same underwear, same t-shirts. You don't have to think about this stuff, right? Just get into routines that make your life a little bit simpler. And the big one, we're going to go a little long here. The big one is be introspective. If there is a challenge in your life, you have to think about how you're dealing with that. Really, really important. So those are the 14 things. Hey, man, if you can get half done, that's great. This is Robert. I'm with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Thanks for joining us. If any of this stuff interests you, come out to an event and let's get going on this stuff. Thanks.